What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the 2 Feet on the Ground Gravity Podcast. I am your host, Chris. I'm excited that you're joining me here today on YouTube. Hey, you're in for a treat. If you want to hear about a remarkable human being that is impacting lives, this is where it's going to happen. I'm even wearing the swag here to go along with my interview today. Service Peace Warrior is a 501c3 nonprofit that equips, trains dogs, and gives them to service members, our veterans, who are battling post-traumatic stress disorder or other injuries. Absolutely remarkable organization, and they do it 100% absolutely free. It doesn't cost the veteran anything. They've even teamed up with local hotels to where if the veteran is from out of town and they're coming here to train with their dog, they can stay at the hotel for free as well. So just a great organization doing great things to support our nation's heroes. Mary Mattox is going to tell you a little bit about her life, how she has complex PTSD herself, and what motivated her to start Service Peace Warrior. I hope you fall in love with Mary and Service Peace Warrior. I just can't say enough about what they're doing again for our nation's heroes. I say with that, we just jump into the episode. Let's do it. What is going on, Mary Mattox? Thanks for joining me here on the 2 Feet on the Ground Gravity Podcast.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. I'm doing all right. Except I've got this big thing in my window saying this meeting is being recorded and I can't get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
move it around or see if there's an X. That's the beauty of
Got
technology.
it. I did it.
You win.
Can't use a computer, can just train a dog.
Yeah. Well, computers aren't quite as obedient as dogs are. Yeah, that's
No.
They have a mind of their own, literally.
That's a good thing, I think.
I really enjoyed, you invited me out to your place there for Service Peace Warrior, and I really enjoyed our conversations. I intended on being there an hour, and when I left, I looked at my watch. I'm like, I think I was there for like three and a half hours. It was just a remarkable experience of hearing about Service Peace Warrior. I was wondering if you could just start there. Can you tell us what is Service Peace Warrior and how long have you been operating it?
Sure. So Service Peace Warriors is a nonprofit organization that I started. And this is our 2021 calendar, and with a photo of my service dog. And when we went to DC to a service dog conference in 2019. So we're a nonprofit, 501c3, so we're tax deductible and all that good stuff. And we raise and train service dogs for veterans coming home with PTSD and other disabilities. And what we do is we give those dogs to our veterans free of charge. There is no processing fees, nothing like that, no hidden cost. It's the dog and any tools and 8 weeks of training with that dog so that they can use it correctly out in the world. They have to recertify with us throughout each year to make sure their dog's still working as a service dog. They can call us at any time if they're needing help with anything. So, okay, there's your hesitation.
How long ago did you start Service Peace Warrior?
So it was a thought like 8 years ago. Okay, so I was a 4-H leader for 21 years and worked with youths and did dogs and goats at the fairs around here with the kids. And of course, we showed the dogs, and my son got himself a little German Shepherd because he wanted to start showing Cloud. And off we went with that. And so we were out training one day with all the kids and things, and I was starting to hear some things about veterans on the suicides. And I'm like, I might not be good at much, but I'm good with dogs and horses, okay? Why could I not train a dog for a veteran as I trained my own service dog for me because I had complex PTSD? And I thought, I'm going to train 6 dogs per year and put 6 dogs out each year for veterans with PTSD and other disabilities. That sounded easy enough, right? So we got started, getting our IRS stuff together for a 501c3 and business licenses and all that. And we took our old goat barn and we tore it apart and put it all together. And I put 4 dogs out the first year. And each year it's gone up and up and up. And I mean, I don't even think I put 6 out in a year. It was like 4, and then it was like 8 or something like that. So I don't know what happened to the 6. And now we're up to like 18 per year and still working towards putting more out each year. So Service Peace Warriors, I kind of started with my son because he was showing his German Shepherd at that time. And I said, what do you think of doing something like putting service dogs out to veterans? Because we'd been hearing about how our veterans were having a hard time. And I think he was like 16 at the time or something. He was pretty young. And he was like, okay, And I'm like, well, if we did something like this, what would we call it? Because you've got all these heroes and warriors and everything else that everybody's putting in these for the names. I said, well, how about we get service in there because of the service the veteran has given his country? And okay, well, what about peace? Peace is good because that's what we're trying to give our veterans by giving them the dog and giving them peace of mind and peace on being able to move on with their lives when they come back in to civilization. There's sometimes not a lot there and they don't know how to go looking for it. And I know personally how much a dog can help, and trained correctly how much they really can help. And then we were like, well, how about warriors? Well, we're back with warriors, but it kind of looks to me like the dog's the warrior now. We all know our veterans are the heroes and our warriors. We know that, but we know they come back, with a lot of other stuff that they didn't leave home with. There's a lot of baggage, and I don't believe they get enough help that they need. And so we were like, Service Peace Warriors. And we're saying Service Peace Warriors and trying to put it together. Does that sound right? And it just kind of flowed from there. But the reason for doing it is I had Chance's dog one day, and I had one of my major episodes. And when I have PTSD episodes, I go completely blind and completely deaf. And I can't concentrate. I'm sweating like crazy. It's awful. We live in a little 1,200 square foot home. And this pup was about 8 months old at that time. And I was the only one up. And he came and laid beside me at one of the ends of the house in the living room. And he just laid beside me. And I just remember touching him and holding onto his fur. And I was kind of trying to talk to him because I couldn't concentrate and I couldn't see. And it took 3 hours, but we managed to get to the other end of the house thanks to that dog. Because every time I stopped and I couldn't go any further, he would just lay down with me and just put his head in here. And he wasn't pouring at me or trying to get into my face. He realized something was wrong. And it took us 3 hours to get to the other end of the house to my bedroom where my husband was. And they ran me into the hospital. And by the time they got me to the hospital, they were shocked I hadn't had a stroke. And I honestly believe the only reason I didn't have a stroke is because Cloud, he stayed with me for one and he helped me down there. But he worked without knowing he was working. He kept me calm enough, I think, to where I made it. It took a while, but I made it, right? I don't know if I would have if it hadn't been for him that time. I honestly don't. And then I realized what he did for me. So I started researching service dogs, and I talked to my doctor about it. Of course, they don't know a lot about it. She said if I did the leg work, she would do whatever she could to help me because I had been diagnosed with complex PTSD. And so did some leg work, worked with my doctor, trained my dog. Sky's now 7.5 years old and been by my side since she was 9 weeks old. And while I was looking for her and training her, I used Cloud, my son's dog. And then the thing came up with the 4-H kids and everything. Then we came up with the name, did all the work on that, and then we just kept growing and growing and growing. And that's how we came about.
Wow. Thanks for having the courage to share your story. I know when other people hear your story, it's going to give them strength, because when people hear stories of people being in a dark place and persevering through that, it gives us hope. It gives us hope that, hey, I'm looking at you right now and you look totally fine. And you went through that. So I'm going to be okay too. Like I can do that too. I love stories of hope that can encourage others. And I've had the opportunity to have people in my life that have shared their story with me that gave me hope when I was struggling with post-traumatic stress and in that dark spot of, I'm not going to get better. This is who I am. I'm broken and unusable. And in reality, it's like, no, you're not. You could actually do great things. Really normal way that our human brain and body respond to not normal experiences. And so let's start putting some of these tools into practice, like in your case, a service dog that can really help. Why? There are so many people that would benefit from service animals, people that are struggling from PTSD. Why veterans? Why not school age kids? Or, what was it about veterans that was like, that's who we're going to focus this service on?
It's kind of funny. My story as a teenager, okay, it kind of stems from there. I was the troublemaker, black sheep, okay. I was the one that ended up going into the jail cell, honestly, here and there, underage. And I actually had a detective one year when I was young, and they caught me doing something. I don't even remember what it was, right? And he actually made sure I got out that night because he knew I was one of those kids that had issues. And he could tell that I wasn't a bad person, bad kid. I was just trying to get through childhood, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even remember his name. I remember he had a glass eye. And this was in New Zealand. He made such an impact on me because he seen me for what I was, not for what you thought I was. And so then why didn't I give to first responders straight away, I guess? But I don't know if I'm allowed to say this stuff, but I was brought to America at the age of 17 illegally, child trafficked in here pregnant, to adopt my baby out when it was born. And my baby got killed and nobody had to pay the price for it. I'd like to say that all the crap in my life like that and back to childhood and adulthood here being illegal for so long because I didn't know what to do has made me the person I am. I believe in serving people. I believe in treating people how I want to be treated. I'm not saying I did that in the beginning of my life because I was pretty messed up, and there was those good lifelines, pieces of thread, like that police officer, detective that said I didn't fit there in my life that has helped mold me and work me my way to get me to where I am now. Okay, I forgot the question.
Why veterans? Why veterans?
Yeah. So, I was a 4-H leader for 21 years because I knew kids needed help because of my childhood and everything. But and police officers need help and teachers need help. I mean, there's a lot of people that need help. I know this. I've never been in the military. I'm not, been in the army or anything. When it comes down to the end of the day, the reason I'm sitting here right now talking to you right now is thanks to them. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk about the police later and first responders and everything later. Okay. But we get to do whatever we want, basically, live in the United States, have our freedoms and everything else, because people have died for it. People come home and suffer, and it's like a death to them and their families, even though they're still there. And when you see, when you have a veteran and wife come in here and he actually smiles and opens up a little bit, and the wife goes, I have not seen him do that in like 10 years. He just doesn't smile. He doesn't talk.
Wow.
You got dogs running around him and everything else. And, of course, I let them know that I have PTSD too. So, I don't understand exactly what's going on because I haven't seen and done what they've done, but I do know what PTSD does to us mentally and physically. And they see the smile on these guys or gals' faces. And it's like that little bit of heaven that I know you get from a dog, from a service dog. And like I said, by the end of the day, those are the guys and gals that are over there and fought. They're the ones that went through all this. So the one person that doesn't even give, or even the ones that do give, that's the reason they get to do what they do each day.
Yeah.
People don't get that. They just don't get that. They don't. They think that everything is the way it is because we live in America. Well, yeah. And our military goes out and they fight for it every single day too.
Yeah.
That's why.
I like it. This can't be cheap. This has to cost a lot of money when you're not charging the veterans anything. What's the rough cost of the process from puppy to training to the service member, the veteran going home with their dog on the back end?
So the high number would be like our German Shepherds and that we have to keep to at least 2 years old. They take a lot more training. They're a dominant breed. Takes about 2 years. The English cream retrievers and, the mellow, nice little guys, they're about 16 months by the time they go out. And of course, they've done the 8 weeks working with their veterans out and about. So really, you've got your easier ones that don't go quite 2 years, probably about at least 25,000 to 27,000. To your 2-year program is about 32,000, and that's from basically day one. Your vaccinations, your dewormings, your neuter and your spay, any veterinarian costs, the food for the dogs. And we don't go to Walmart buy cheap food. We go to good stores that sell good quality food and are really good to us, service peace warriors. We make sure these guys are getting anything and everything they possibly need, because we need these dogs to last as long as they do. So we were very fortunate on getting English cream retrievers from one of the best breeders in the United States. They're very, very sound in hips and elbows and temperament. We do the same things with the German Shepherds, and we're working on Burma Doodles right now, which is a Burmese mountain dog and a poodle. And we use rescues too from Micah's Chance Canine Rescue here in town. So, it really varies money-wise, but nothing's done cheaply, because these guys cannot afford to get sick, die early. It's going to happen. I know that, but we're going to do everything in our power to make sure these dogs are going to last as many years as they can. And we run 100% off of donations. Mattox Dog Training Academy has been a huge help. They have paid for quite a bit, which is good because it's just made us be able to put out 18 dogs out last year, right? We're going to hopefully get 20 out this year. So 100% donations. Sometimes we can get some grants come in, fundraisers, events. It's just, that's just a lot of extra work that needs to be done to be able to. It was a lot bigger picture than I thought it was going to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it starts getting really involved, especially when you move from, I'm going to do 6 dogs in a year to now you're doing 18. I mean, that's just, it grows.
It grows. It grows. The barn is way too small. We're working up and putting a new building up this winter. We'll be working inside and out. Inside when it's really hot and really cold from now on, come spring. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy what I'm doing. Apparently, I'm retired like my husband. He is.
Retired. You need some
Right?
air quotes there, Mary.
I didn't know how to do that, apparently. But I think anybody that watches this and knows what PTSD is and what it does to us, as long as our brains are busy, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing okay. It doesn't mean every day is perfect by any means. It gets really stressful, and it's like, what some days are like, why am I doing this with my PTSD?
Yeah.
I mean, really, it does. But, at the end of the day, I know 22 plus veterans are going to have killed themselves by the time I go to bed tonight.
Yeah.
And I know without my dog, I probably would have committed suicide. And I watch our veterans that are welcome here anytime come in, have coffee with somebody else, or come volunteer a few hours and help, or just come in and do some extra work with their dogs and use the agility and confidence courses with a smile on their face. Those are the days where I look at it and go, that's why you're doing that. That's why you're doing that.
Those little reminders are important in life. Hey,
oh boy.
You mentioned pet stores that have supported you guys. It sounds like potentially giving you better pricing on products and stuff. Did I also see that a local hotel, when people come here for the 8 weeks of training, that they take care of you, take care of the veteran?
They do. Clover Island Inn in Kennewick give the free rooms to our veterans out of town. So they have somewhere to stay each week they come and train. Yes. We have EFC Equipment Feed and Pet that's out by Horn Rapids, giving us amazing deals, free dog food, just been absolutely amazing to us. Mikey's Chance Canine Rescue, who gives me picker litters that she thinks I can use when Labradors come in, or the service breeding dogs that I'm looking for. She'll go, hey, we got a litter. Do you want to come take a look at them? They have been so helpful from the beginning. I mean, because I went into these places and I say, okay, well, this is who I am, and this is what I'm trying to do. And now it's like I go into places and I go, well, I'm Mary Mattox, and I have Service Peace Warriors. I'm founder of Service Peace Warriors, and this is what I'm doing. And yes, having the free room and board for them when they're here training. We take them to EFC so they can get all set up for their food and their bowls and treats and everything they want for their dogs. And we make sure that our veterans get to meet all these people, including their puppy raisers of their pup.
Wow. That has to be special.
It's pretty cool to watch when a puppy raiser comes out and sees the finished result of the dog and gets to meet the veteran that received that dog they raised. Yeah. Yes.
When we see, and you've touched on this already, and this is what I love about Service Peace Warrior is life change. And you've already mentioned it when you have that spouse come in and they say, my veteran doesn't talk, and I'm seeing a different side of him out here in this environment. And now that he has a service dog, I would imagine that does the same thing for the people that are raising the pups. Is when they see the life change, it's like, wow, right? It gives meaning, it gives significance, it gives purpose just like you said on your tough Sunday nights where you're sitting there asking the question, what the heck am I doing? And then you remember some of the stories. I'm sure you have faces that pop into your mind, you
Oh, yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
you're like, that's why I'm doing this, what I'm doing. It's not easy, but that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So somewhere in the process there, I mean, you have Service Peace Warrior, which again is 100% for veterans.
Yes.
But somewhere in there, a seed got planted that, hey, I want to support first responders that are battling PTSD as well. And I remember you telling me you use your dog training academy, Mattox. Is it Mattox?
Mattox Dog Training Academy.
And you use that to start funding this idea of supporting first responders. So what was it that planted that seed in your mind, and what do you see that looking like in the future?
Oh gosh. So when COVID hit, it was hard to get out and do events and fundraise and find grants because it all started going to COVID, which I understand. I mean, it needed to, but there was other programs that got missed and skipped with it too. And not just, service dogs, veterans, and that, a lot of other things. Getting the dogs out there and making sure people are seeing them because they ask questions. I mean, there's been a number of veterans that have found us just by seeing a veteran with one of our dogs at a store, right? And then we didn't get that for a while. And we were kind of like, okay, well, no matter what, we got to keep this going. That's all there is to it. Money's going to get low. This is when, EFC, Equipment, Feed and Pet, and the hotel and our veterinarian, Double Arrow, who is awesome to us, fantastic veterinarian, helped us get through the rough times. We'd get our bill for the veterinarian. It was, and down written on it is pay when you can. Who does that, right? Veterinarians, they don't do that. They want their payment that day, right? Double Arrow, if you need a few months, you do what you got to do.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was amazing. So my PTSD, lost train of thought again on question.
No, you're doing great. So the whole seed getting planted on first responders. So we're moving through COVID and.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So we got to make another way of making money. Okay. My husband and I are fortunate enough to own our own land that we live on because we were farmers, okay, for years. And so we rent out our ground each year, and that we get paid once a year. And as long as we pay our property taxes, we get to keep our ground, right? So it was like, I got lost again.
First responders.
First blimey.
Here, you're doing awesome, Mary.
This will help me.
No, you're doing awesome. Keep going.
I try to make sure I'm hitting the bits and pieces, right?
You're giving the background story. You're leading up to it, and you're doing a great job.
I got my PTSD and my head injuries too, and it's like bloody hell. So, first responders. So we wanted to put dogs out with first responders too, because we were learning on what the difficulties are with our first responders nowadays, especially with the way things are going. And a lot of people, I don't think, understand the police have it as bad as maybe the veterans, okay? I think a lot more people probably think of the veterans more than the police, honestly. And it's been very interesting to watch. So we put two service dogs out with two service dogs out with police officers, both here from around Tri-Cities. One was retired and one was active. This is Michelle with Mattox Dog Training Academy agent. I'll put it up here and you can tell me if you can see it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So she is actually, as far as we know, the first service dog put out with an active police officer in Washington State. Okay.
Yeah.
The police do an awesome job as long as you're doing what you're meant to be doing, right? I don't see any problem with it. If you get pulled over, keep your hands on the steering wheel. It's pretty simple. Just don't get in trouble. actually, I love having the police around here. We get them around quite a bit, just stopping by and saying hi or whatever, right? It's really nice working with people with PTSD that I do have the police around. And it kind of just happened. So with Mattox Dog Training Academy, we started it to help fund the service Peace Warrior dogs, because we knew the money wasn't going to be there through grants and fundraising, because we couldn't do it. So we opened the business and started training client dogs, which is not really the place I want to go, but it still takes money to do service Peace Warriors or do something this big. And with Mattox Dog Training Academy, we were able to train other people's dogs for them, whether it be obedience, just simple obedience. We work aggressive dogs. We do different kinds of training. We do pack order training with the dogs, and we work with the people. The dog's always the easy one to train, by the way. I have to say that, sorry.
Most things in life.
So Chance and I were, well, if we start Mattox Dog Training Academy and if it takes off and we can help service Peace Warriors, we thought, well, this should help at least get 1 or 2 dogs out to police officers or paramedics or firefighters or first responders, right?
Yeah.
So my oldest boy is a fireman paramedic. I have a nephew that is a firefighter. I've heard the stories.
Yeah, you have.
I've heard the story. Yeah, I've heard the stories from the police officers too. And they see and do and deal with some horrific stuff, just like our veterans. Okay. They're just a different breed, if that's the way you want to put it. And I don't know if that's right. And if I'm saying anything wrong to anybody, I apologize. But
no, I think it's appropriate. I think it describes first responders well.
Yeah. So what we did is we already have these groups of veterans working together, right? So we normally put out 6, 8 in a group of veterans. So if we have a police officer or a first responder of that, they can work with the veteran because they're all trained here as service dogs. So it's been very interesting watching our police officers work with the veterans out there with their dogs because, yeah, they both serve. They both come from different, and it is different when you watch, come together and become a family.
That's great.
And if you need to cut this part out, that's fine, okay? But you and I talked about this, is it seems to me when something happens with a police officer, whether it's a shooting or whatever, they seem to be the ones that pay for it. They seem like they do the right thing, and then something happens because somebody's got to say something that they did something wrong or this or that. And everybody goes this direction. They go away from them. When veterans have that kind of stuff happen, they come together like this, okay? And watching my veteran group with our police officers, first responders with their dogs, just bring them in like this and give them a family.
Yeah. Was amazing.
Because they didn't get that. They didn't have that. We of course we have our private page where all our veterans with dogs are on and our first responders and that, and the amount of unconditional support that has been given to them by the veterans has been amazing. And vice versa, of course, they've been great with our veterans. They first come in and they're like, okay, well, I really don't fit here. I'm the officer, they're the veterans. How's this all going to work, right? Well, you got a dog and you got PTSD. I don't see any problem, right? Go for it. And it didn't matter. Nobody cared, you know? It was one of the best things I've ever seen happen in my whole entire life.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, you mentioned your page. What if people want to learn more about Service Peace Warrior? Is it just servicepeacewarrior.org? Is it .org?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we have a webpage, www whatever, servicepeacewarriors.org. That's how you get in touch with us and everything. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We have a little bit of YouTube going. Yeah. And then of course, Mattox Dog Training Academy too. It has a web page and, but it's .com. And it has Facebook page and everything too. So, Mattox Dog Training Academy supports Service Peace Warriors in all ways. That's why we started it. So we would always have, hopefully, the money to keep putting our service dogs out with. Yeah.
Well, I was checking out the website earlier this morning, and it's really easy to donate. So if any listeners are sitting there hearing, maybe you have a veteran in your life and you believe in supporting our nation's heroes, super easy, servicepeacewarrior.org. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a donate button. You click on that. You can either do it through PayPal or with a credit card or debit card. Or I also saw that you are part of United Way, and there's a lot of workplaces that do United Way end of year kind of commitments for the following year. And I know that you can select Service Peace Warrior as being the recipient of your United Way donations through your employer, if that's the way that works out. Wow.
And we have Amazon Smile.
You have what?
We have Amazon Smile too.
What's Amazon Smile? I'm not familiar with that one.
Really? So
tell me.
Amazon is your same account, but you go to Amazon Smile instead of just Amazon. Okay. You put your same username, your same password, and it's your same account. And then you pick a charity, and it doesn't even have to be us, right? And if you want it to be, you can find Service Peace Warriors, you hit it. And then when you buy something that has Prime on it, a certain amount goes to Service Peace Warriors.
All right, this is an easy one, ladies and gentlemen, because we all use Amazon as long as we use technology. And if you're like me and you haven't heard of this, this is a super easy way for you to support Service Peace Warrior and the work that Mary's doing. That's like a no-brainer. Yes. As soon as we get off this conversation, I'm going to get on my phone and do Amazon Smile. How about for veterans? How about if a veteran is struggling and they're like, hey, I want to learn more about maybe applying to get a dog? What would they do? I'm assuming also on the website?
Go on the website, go on Facebook and message us. We will respond. Carrie will respond, she'll give you her phone number if you haven't already got it from the web page or the Facebook page. And she will be in contact. She will help you with the application. So the application is not difficult. I put it together because I know that when you're going down the rabbit hole or are down there, you don't have any motivation to do something to help yourself. Okay. You'll look at it and you'll go, yeah, okay. Just because you don't even want to write your name. You don't want to do nothing. I know where that is. So I try to make it really, really simple. So yes, we do need a therapist letter, and we do need your DD 214, and we need photos of your house, and we need all that. But all you got to worry about is just doing the application, the very simple part, getting it in, and we can do the rest later. Okay? Just get in contact with us, and it's not a big deal. We will work with you. Some veterans didn't get their photos to us for 3 months after they put the application in or something like that. It's not a big deal. It's giving hope and understanding we're here, we've got the dogs, we will make it work. Yeah, like I said, I tried to make it as simple as I possibly could because I know how difficult it is. You start looking at a form and you're going, okay, they want to know this and they want to know that. It's like, why? I don't give a shit, right? Just whatever.
Totally overwhelming. Yeah, totally overwhelming when people are in the pits of despair.
Yes.
Well, as a veteran, thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me. Seeing people support our veterans. I think it's important, one, for our veterans themselves, because you're right. they carved out a large portion of their life, oftentimes in their youth. And then some of them are continuing to pay.
Yeah.
They're continuing to experience the consequence of that choice to serve. And I think it's also important for the rest of the rest of America, the rest of our community, for our young people to see this is the way we take care of people. This is just what we do. And we've gotten a lot better than we were maybe back in the 70s, but I think we still have a lot of work to do in recognizing the hurt, the injury. I really like that word injury, because I think it kind of reframes the conversation of post-traumatic stress. When we think about it as a disorder, which is true, but when we think about it like that, sometimes we think, oh, people are just broken forever. Well, no, it's just like if I break my arm, yeah, I may not be able to use my arm exactly like I used to be able to after it heals and I do physical therapy, but I can get it back to being usable again. And I want our veterans to hear that. You are valuable. You are courageous. You served our country, and life might be different as you heal, but that's okay. You can heal and you can still do courageous, remarkable things in our communities. But you got to put in some work, and you got to be willing to accept some help. And if you accept that help and put in some of the work on a day-to-day basis, I've seen a lot of veterans, I've seen first responders heal from post-traumatic stress and get to a really good spot. Yeah, it's still a struggle sometimes, but they get to a really good spot where they're like, wow, look where I used to be, and look where I've came now. So thank you for what you're doing, Mary.
It's kind of selfish, really, but I do it because I have PTSD too, and I get to work with dogs all day, right? And it's my therapy too. And I'm just glad that with the way my life could have been and how it is now, that I'm actually putting it to some decent use. I took all the shit and the crap and everything else. I don't know if I'm allowed to say those words. And
you said them. Keep it coming.
I said it right. Took all that, and instead of doing something negative with it, I'm trying to do something positive with it, and it's helping me too.
Awesome. Well, if anyone's watching this on YouTube, look at the links below. I'm going to have information about Service Peace Warrior and Mattox Dog Training Academy down there. Check it out. Check out their organization. Go to Amazon Smile like I'm gonna, and let's go ahead and equip some veterans with some dogs. Yeah?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. There's a couple things that you can do to help out the 2 Feet on the Ground Gravity podcast. We appreciate the thumbs up if you like the video, or if you think we stink, you can give us a thumbs down. That works too. We're also looking for feedback, so please share this with your friends. Leave some comments below. Shoot me an email, chris@gravityct.com. Let us know how we're doing. And you can also continue to follow us not only here on YouTube, but on all the major podcast platforms. Wow. If you have a veteran that you love and support, maybe this would be a good time to sit there and give them a call and just tell them how much you appreciate them. Also, look down in the comments. I have information down there about Service Peace Warrior. Just check out their website, learn more about them. If you feel committed to do so, maybe support them, give them some money, equip that next veteran with a service dog, and absolutely transform their life. Have a remarkable Christmas holiday coming up here, and go love on your loved ones.